YouTube is an expensive hobby. I have a day job. I work 40 hours a week. This is not my primary source of income, nor will it be for probably the foreseeable future if things progress at the pace that they're going.
So 2020 was a little bit different.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hi, I'm Amanda, and you're watching Swell Entertainment, and welcome to my 2020 YouTube financial review. So last year, I made a financial review for 2019. It was very different than this one. As you guys know, I started 2020 with 6,600 subscribers, and now I'm at 171K at the time of filming this. It's just a little bit of a jump. Before I get started, I just want to talk about the fact that I am not bragging. I know some people get weird about money, and I know how fortunate I am in the year of 2020 with so much devastation going on in our country and in the world to be able to be financially stable more than I have been in my entire life, be able to be moving out later this month, be able to properly save money during a pandemic, be able to quit my service job. I was incredibly lucky in 2020. And though I did put in work, and I'm going to talk about some of that, it wouldn't matter how much work I was putting into my channel. I would not be having the same amount of returns that I've had if it weren't for you guys supporting my content and engaging with my content. So I want to say thank you for that. I feel like I'm making this weirder than it needs to be, but I like being transparent as much as I can be with you. And I think, especially in the creator sphere, I think all of us can benefit from us being a little more transparent with each other and with our audiences. So I think that's important. That being said, no one knows exactly what I make from being a content creator. No one aside from my CPA will know exactly what I make from being a content creator. I live with my dad. He doesn't know what I make. He didn't want to know, actually. There'd be times this year where I'd have like a really good month or a really good video. I'd be like, oh my God, this video made me X amount of money. And he'd be like, I don't want to know. I don't want to hear. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. That's your money. My dad has always been very big on financial privacy because I'm never going to know exactly what he's making. So why should he know what I'm making, which I think is very nice. But the format for this financial review is going to be a bit different than last year's financial review because, for example, the YouTube is no longer an expensive hobby for me. It is now my main source of income. Acting is my expensive hobby, which I am just investing money into and hoping one day to have a return. So last year, I didn't have any sponsorships, I didn't have any affiliate marketing, and I didn't have any merch sales. My merch sales have been very minimal. I will tell you it's less than $100, mainly because I'm terrible at promoting my merch, working on that in 2021. That's a future issue. End of 2020 is where I kind of started looking into affiliate marketing, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't make a lot of money from affiliate marketing. I made about $16, and that was mainly from the Amazon affiliate codes for my Spider-Man suit. And then though I did do sponsorships in 2020, most sponsorships in the agreements, they do disclose that you're not supposed to disclose how much you're being paid. And also I do think it's tacky to disclose that amount. So I'm not going to be telling you specifically how much I've made from sponsorships this year. But here are all the brands that I did sponsorships with in 2020. And while we're here, why don't I tell you about today's sponsor for this video, AdamandEve.com. Let's face it, 2020 was a lot of lockdown and a lot of alone time, okay? And based on what I'm seeing in the news and on social media, that's not gonna change anytime soon in 2021. So you might as well make the most of your alone time, have a little fun with it, and pick something from the wide variety of selection that is available on AdamandEve.com. And if you use code SWELL, you get 50% off one item and free shipping on your whole order from AdamandEve.com. That is code SWELL on AdamandEve.com. Thank you to Adam and Eve for sponsoring this video. So in 2019, I told you guys exactly how much I'd made from Patreon and coffee. However, for this video, I'm going to keep it strictly to AdSense. I do make sure that those numbers for how many patrons I have and how much I'm going to be estimated to be making that month are public on my profile if you want to go check that out. So a little refresher course, in 2019, I had gotten I think a little under 1 million views. I had posted 27 videos and I made a little over $900. Obviously, I'm trying to make you guys stick around for a little bit, so I'm not going to tell you exactly what YouTube paid me in 2020 until the end, because where's the fun in that? We're on a journey. We're on an adventure. I'm telling you a story of quarantine and anxiety and Spider-Man suits and bad microphones. Oh my God, my audio went on such a journey this year. Also really quick, in 2019, I had a lot of comments. I didn't even think about this at the time. A lot of people being like, oh my God, no tax write-offs? No, I just didn't even think about including those. I'm going to be talking about what I invested in my channel as far as products go and things like that for videos themselves. However, the things I'm going to be talking about, though they are write-offs, they are not my only tax write-offs. But as far as the profits that I'm going to talk to you about, just take a large chunk of those out. Take them out. A lot of it's going to go to taxes. okay? Because as a YouTuber, I am self-employed. I do not work for YouTube. They are not taking taxes out of my paycheck or anything like that. I have to be on top of all of that for finances. If you guys would be interested, maybe I can do a more dedicated taxes video for content creators and the like once I sit down with my CPA and go through all of that. In 2019, I made about 27 videos, and in 2020, I made about 76 videos. Which I always think it's funny when I talk about how many videos I've uploaded, and people are like, it's quality over quantity. I agree. Trying to tell me something? Honestly, there are really no videos this year that I've put out that I'm not proud of or not happy with. Sure, there's videos that I look back from like 6 months ago and be like, I could have done this differently. I would have done this. I would have said this instead. I could have fixed the audio, but there's certain things that I would have changed, but there's nothing that I'm like, I genuinely regret putting out this video. And also, one of my goals for 2020 was to do weekly videos, and I more than surpassed that. My other goal was to get 10,000 subscribers. I more than surpassed that. My notes are a mess. It's kind of hard for me to do, here's all the products that I bought, and here's all of this, because there was a lot more this year than there was in 2019. So we're just kind of going to break it down by month, and I'll put some of the breakdowns up on the screen. So I talked about, I believe, 3 products in January. I'd actually purchased those all at the end of 2019 in December. So those are not going to be included in my money for this year. So for February of 2019, as far as products or things that I specifically bought for events, for videos, I spent $996.61. And most of that was for my trip to San Francisco for UFO Con. Fun fact, that's where I was when my channel blew up and I was hyperventilating in my hotel room. It was fun. March, I only had 1 product and that was $5. April, it was 2 products at $121.81. May, it was 1 video at $41.54. July, 1 product at $53.85. August, $116.01. For September, it was about $212.90. HelloFresh was a little tricky because I did it for so long, so I'm just going to count HelloFresh, the average of what I paid, for about $87.87. So October in total, we're gonna put at $227.81. November was about $86.60. Yes, I am doing math as I'm talking to you. And for December, it was just for my Mr. Beast burger order for $38.13. And here are some other products that I bought in 2020 for reviews in 2021. So I'm gonna tally all these up. Again, these are my bare minimum for what I invested in my channel in 2020, and I'm not going to include the products that I bought for 2021. So the bare minimum of what I invested into my channel for product reviews and movie reviews in 2020 was $1,900.24. You know what? Considering how much content I made this year, could be worse. So let's break down some analytics, shall we? Let's see, where should I break this off? So let's put it at a month and a half, okay, of 2020. 24.8K views, about 81 subscribers gained, and I made about $112.49. Considering where I was at, it's pretty good. Now, obviously, February, I've talked a lot about what happened in February. I had a video take off in that time. Can you not do the trash right now, please? February 11th, I believe, is when I posted my I was a little late with Lily Singh audience member. If you want to see a more detailed view of the analytics for my Lily Singh video, go check out this video where I talk about how much YouTube paid me for 1 million views. In 2020, in total, this video got 1.6 million views. It was absolutely my biggest video. Gained me 22.9K subscribers, and my estimated revenue was about $4,875. So my channel took off at probably the most inopportune time. It worked out really well view-wise because everyone was staying home with the lockdown, but ad rates got kind of yoinked. So for a long time, the ad rates during that really big portion in my content weren't great. I always hear people talking about like, isn't this an average CPM or an average RPM? I don't think there's an average across the board. I think there's like a reasonable normal. However, I do think the average is really dependent on the channel and the type of content that you make. CPM, I believe, is what the ad companies are actually paying, and then RPM is actually closer to what I am getting paid per 1,000 views on my video. Do notice that the CPM and the RPMs for my higher performing videos are usually lower than some of my mediocre videos or lesser performing videos. For example, with the Lily Singh video, the CPM is $6.24 with an RPM of $3.01. Ad rates did dip incredibly low during the start of the pandemic when lockdown was happening, and that was when this video was getting its most traction. Even here looking at this graph, my total CPM for 2020 was about $10.08, and my RPM was about $5.10. Usually it was much higher than that though, but again, that's factoring in those periods where it was really, really low. When I click the RPM button right here, this breaks it down much more, where you can see where the spikes are and where my average ad rates went up. I was lucky in 2020 where I was able to get my channel verified on my first attempt at trying to get it verified after hitting 100K. I had a lot of people tell me that it took them 3 or 4 times to attempt it in order to get verified. But I believe that once you're verified, that does kind of add you into a higher ad rate. YouTube kind of like verifies like, okay, you're a real person, you're really making content, so we're gonna put you in a little higher tier of ad rate. Ad rates got much better towards the end of the year because more brands were pushing for online branding and things like that because of the pandemic. But I also believe it was because my channel was verified. So though I'm hiding the total, this is my revenue breakdown for 2020. That one really high spike there is not from a video. It is from a live stream. Just kind of talking about random stuff. And then some random person came in and gave me a super chat for $100. I freaked out. Everyone was like, oh my God, this is funny. She's blushing so much. And so people just started doing simp bombs and just kept dropping money left and right. So in one live stream, I made $1,400. I actually believe the total for that live stream of what was actually donated to me during the live stream was about $2,500 or $3,000. But YouTube does take a large portion of super chats and, takes their percentage. So I ended up with about $1,400, which is insane. Something I really wanted to post about in this video though, because people always like to comment this especially when there's a product or service from a creator that a lot of people jump on to rip apart. And it's like, oh, this YouTuber is making more money off of other YouTubers. For example, Jake Paul with the financial freedom movement. I thought it'd be fun to break down exactly what those videos made me. Same with Quibi, because my channel lasted longer than Quibi did. It was $19.99 at the 50% off rate for the financial freedom movement. At some time, like 2 months after my videos went up and everyone talked about the financial freedom movement, the site became public and you could just join it, no problem. I never got my Movement Maker t-shirt. I don't think anyone did. It was a bunch of bullshit. So for my first financial freedom movement video, I made about $509.91. However, my second video on the Jake Paul financial freedom movement, because I followed up a month later when I still had access, definitely got more views. It got 230,000 views. It made me $1,033.54. So that video had about a $9 CPM and about a $4 RPM. So let's talk about Mulan real quick. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you may not know about the fact that I fist fought the capitalist mouse that is Disney because they kept trying to copyright claim and take down my Mulan video. It was a mess and a half. I basically tried to re-upload like 6 different versions of that video. I didn't even care if it was monetized at that point. I just wanted it to be viewable, but they kept blocking it in all countries and demonetizing it. So finally it was able to get up. Personally, I think it's dumb that people acted surprised when the movie became available for free on Disney Plus in December. That was part of the marketing, that it was going to be available for free in December. For me, it made more financial sense for me to just buy the movie at the time because I knew a lot of people weren't gonna wanna pay for the movie and they still wanted to know if the movie was bad or not. So I spent $29.99 on that movie. I repeatedly fist fought the capitalist mouse and I made $2,506.91 from Mulan. Thank you, Mickey. Quibi. So I eventually did make another Quibi video where I needed to be subscribed to Quibi in order to make my video on it. So I did technically spend $4.99 on Quibi. Now my $4.99 did them no good, but they got it. So my first Quibi video got just under 500,000 views and made about $1,544. Second video on Quibi was posted a couple of months later and it was about how they were drowning because I believe they lost about 93% of their original subscriber base. Yikes. So that video got about 275K views and made $1,667. Third video on Quibi was a last minute crank out. Basically, it'd been announced that they were definitely selling Quibi, definitely shutting down Quibi in December. So my video on Quibi being dead got about 145,000 views and it made $987. By the time I put out my final video on Quibi, people had Quibi fatigue. So the videos did not do as well, but it got 69K views and made $576, which means that I made on Quibi across my channel $4,775.75. If you weren't shut down, I would probably send you an edible arrangement. 3 videos did incredibly well on my channel in 2020 that I had actually posted in 2019, so they all had various views from previous years, but my Charlie's Angels 2019 video, that video got over 500,000 views. My video on TanaCon 1 year later, where I interviewed a bunch of other TanaCon attendees, and my I Tried Being a Brand Ambassador So You Don't Have To also did incredibly well this year. The YouTube algorithm is very weird. I have no idea what videos are gonna get picked up and what's not. All right, I've put it off long enough. My estimated ad revenue for 2020 was $65,675.95. Once again, like 40% of that is going to taxes. And my total analytics for 2020 are almost 13 million views and about 163,000 subscribers gained. Like I said, I was still working at my coffee shop job at the start of this year up until August. In 2019, from my coffee shop job, I made about $15K. As I've mentioned previously, I am moving out later this month. The doorknob is going away. I have photos of this thing I'm gonna hang in the background of my new setup. But I wouldn't be able to even be considering moving out if it weren't for all of your support and your support of my channel and the support of my content, so thank you. I don't know how to end this because usually I would be like, here are my goals for 2021, but I'm being very careful about my goals for 2021. I'm just kind of taking it like a month and a quarter at a time. Something I wanna get better for myself for 2021 is budgeting wise. Though I was saving money rapidly and I was setting money aside for taxes and all this stuff, I got way too comfortable buying off of DoorDash and stuff this year, so I need to like nail that down. Like I said, I'm moving out. I'm focusing on that. I'm excited about that. I have no idea if I'm gonna get content out of the move. Like I tried moving to LA in a pandemic so you don't have to. Is that tone deaf? Probably. If you see photos of me at Saddle Ranch or at a party during the pandemic, you have every right to put me on blast online. Seriously, oh my God, if my brain cells just like leave my body being in LA, I want you guys to like do something, okay? We'll figure it out. We're being very careful with our goals and our ideas for 2021 because I'm just convinced that we're gonna be in lockdown for the next 9 years at this rate. I don't know how to end this other than once again thanking you guys for your support this year. I would not be able to be in the financial place that I am right now, even be considering moving out if it weren't for all of your support. And I don't think I can ever properly thank you in a way that I think is like justified. I don't know how to do the question portion of this video. What are some ideas for content you would like to see from me this year moving forward in 2021 within reason? I can't go anywhere, you know, we're still in a pandemic, but would you be interested in seeing a creator taxes video? Would you be interested in seeing a moving video? I don't know. Tell me what you want. Just comment down below. But that's gonna be it. Shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd also like to support me on Patreon, that'll be listed down below. If you'd like to follow me on my social media, that's gonna be all up here. And that's gonna be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. So in 2020, I got paid in January for December 2019. I did not get a check in February. But then after that, there wasn't a single month I didn't get a check from YouTube, which was very nice because, oh my God, my finances would have been screwed and my family would have been screwed otherwise. So thank you.
Thank you, Elaine, Allie, Alan, Elise, Brayden, Cameron, Christopher, Chris, Cody, Colton, Crush PC, Devin, Dirty One, Dawn, Elliot, Essen, Evan, Feckless, Hopeless, Hollow, Corey, Jakers, Joe, John M, George, Joseph, Kenny, Kevin, Kim, Kristen, Lex, Luis, Manga, Matt O, Matthew S, Me More the Red, Michael J, Nathaniel, Pat, Prilak, Rob, Robbie, Ross, Robert, Sam, Simon, Stephen, Tasha, Timothy, Tom, Tyrone, Wendy, William, Zendry.